Guys, welcome back to Rise and Grind. We got a new face here with us today, filling in for Megs. What's going on, Chris?
Good morning. How are you?
How was your weekend, my man?
The weekend was really good, actually. Went and saw the new Willy Wonka movie on Friday, which was actually really good.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see. It was like a prequel. It was to see what like Willy Wonka, how he became Willy Wonka. So it was actually pretty good. And then did some house cleaning on Saturday. And then on Sunday, my wife and I decided to use all of the gadgets that we got for our bridal shower. And we made homemade bread, homemade butter.
So you mean those aren't just going to sit there and dust off?
No, just not going to sit there with dust. Although they were. We had to get the leaf blower and clean it off. So overall, it was pretty good. It was a good weekend.
There we go. Good. Hey, similar. You know, the typical, you got to do stuff at home. Clean this, do that. So just getting ready, obviously, for the holiday season. We have Christmas coming up. Super excited about that. But let's dive on in here. Welcome back. Obviously, if this is your first time watching the show, Rise and Grind, our intentions here is to give the top trends for small businesses, entrepreneurs, executives on what's going on in the marketing and branding space and just overall business economic space. So let's dive right into the first one. So one thing that I think is a big topic, obviously, that we know heavily here at Adapting Social, but is be careful with the people that are your customers or your viewers or readers on them identifying that you're using ChatGPT. So I was actually I was doing some research and I was in Reddit, and I'm in Reddit, and there was this amazing response to one of these things about like this guy was like, "Oh, I'm trying to start a business," and in a nutshell, he was looking for advice. And so I'm going down this, and there was like 200 comments, right? So I'm going through all of them, just kind of like looking and breezing. Mm-hmm. And this one answer was just phenomenal. I was like so shocked. I was like, this is a great answer. And then I started to look at it in the way, you know how like ChatGPT always bullets it? It's like 1, 2,
always
3,
bulleted.
1, 2, 3. It's like they don't ever just like say it. It's just it has to be bulleted. So I see it. I'm like, okay, this is a ChatGPT response. And then underneath it, there was way more comments to the fact that it was ChatGPT. It's like, nobody's looking for ChatGPT. We can all go do that, bro. They literally said, bro, like put your actual answer. Don't ask ChatGPT, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it made me start to think like, damn, like we're all going to start to be accustomed to how ChatGPT actually is writing copy and content.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, when we see stuff, we like that. Everybody in that group was pissed that he did that because they were like, dude, nobody wants to see a ChatGPT answer. Like we're asking for a genuine response from a business owner, not you asking ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. And so it started to beg the question, like, now do we have to start being careful? And the answer I think is yes, because as we move into it, it's almost like stock photos. Like back in the day, like going back like 6-7 years ago, for even Adapting Social, when we used to like have clients who never sent us content and stuff or didn't have media.
Using stock everywhere.
Adobe stock, cities, right?
Any free image resource we could find, we were using.
100%. So we would literally just post stock, and nobody gave a shit. Like nobody cared. It wasn't an issue. And fast forward now, what we're seeing differently is the fact that if somebody were to post stock now, it's so gross. Like, hey, that's so stocky. It's obviously like not them. That's unauthentic. And that's the point here, guys, is that when you have content that's unauthentic, consumers typically will pick it up and say, that's not how this person speaks, or the bulleted point, that's ChatGPT.
It's an option for people to call you out on it now. I mean, and that's what people do nowadays, left and right.
Call
you out on it. And stock images, because you type in, people working, you get the same image, and you go to like any like corporate style business website, or like the same images are used left and right. People want to see genuine responses and genuine images.
100%. And I think ultimately that's the whole thing here. That's the key here. Is that people they're going to start getting pissed about it, because that's what it was in Reddit. So, and again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about how utilizing AI and ChatGPT or things like ChatGPT, the way that ChatGPT right now puts out when you ask it questions is typically bullet points it out, or, puts it in a numerical system, and people can identify it. So they're starting to get pissed because they're like, hey, if I'm asking for genuine feedback, or if I'm asking for something genuine from you, and you give me an obvious ChatGPT response, it makes it feel like you didn't put the effort in. Yeah. And people don't like that.
There's nothing wrong with using ChatGPT as a starting point.
Like the brainstorm.
And I think that's the the starting point for any business owner or consumer or whatever it is. Just you can use ChatGPT, but then as a starting point, but then put your own input in it, put your own creative twist to it. Don't just copy and paste it and stick it into a response or use it for an article or something. You have to be, it's a starting point. Everybody needs a starting point or an article to reference or whatever it is. So just don't be copying and pasting ChatGPT right off the bat. You have to put your own voice to it.
Totally. That's the freaking key, right? Yeah. And I think, again, you here at Adapting Social, you're doing a lot of work with AI and stuff. So you're seeing obviously how that stuff works. And again, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not just about utilizing the entire thing it gives you and being lazy. Like that's what that person did. Mm-hmm. They clearly grabbed that amazing answer that they probably prompted very well, but they didn't put their own twist on it. I think that's the challenge.
To be honest, they probably had an automation set up where they didn't even see the original question. It was probably an automation or some form set up where it just auto responded from the prompts that they had set up. Right. And it just kept going for whenever somebody put a question in or commented on it.
Probably. But regardless, be careful, beware, because that is starting to become an issue, which is interesting because obviously we looked at, when it first came out as like everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon. Mm-hmm. And now here comes the precaution. So be careful. Next up on the list, we got the key SEO trends for 2024. As everybody here knows, most of you, if not, I'd be shocked, have a Google or Alexa in your home, right? And so when it comes to search, one of the biggest things that we're seeing in the trends are not just, obviously, search engines, but it's also voice search. And it's getting your business prepared for voice search and all the different places where we're going. So we have VR, which is coming a lot sooner and a lot faster, I think, than we all expect. Obviously, you have the brand new Meta Quest Pro. You have Apple's insane, what the heck is it called? Glasses. Glasses, yeah. Which, again, apparently give you like the virtual world, and essentially your laptop and your whole setup in your headset. Again, these things are bringing that stuff faster. So when people are going to those world, again, of, augmented reality, of voice search, which voice search has been here for a while. So that's in no way, shape, or form an issue. It's been here already. It's already a thing. But gearing up for 2024, people are putting way more stock into augmented reality, putting it way more stock into voice search and YouTube. Okay. And again, visual component. People are looking, like you said this before, and I'll let you dive in deeper on it. But what we've seen time and time and time again is that people, they do not like just go to Google anymore, right? So like if I'm looking for something to like how to do this at home, like a how-to, like if I'm having an issue with something, mechanical or something in my house, I'll go to YouTube. You go to TikTok.
I go to TikTok straight. The first thing I do if I'm love building things. It's one of my hobbies, and watching a YouTube video to me is just mind draining. It's mind numbing because it takes too long. Honestly, my brain works so quickly that if I'm sitting there watching a YouTube video, I find myself having to hit the next 30-second button all the time. Yeah. And then I miss the important part that I'm trying to find because I'm getting so frustrated and aggravated from it taking so long. Right. TikTok, it's a 60-second bite-sized piece where it's literally just like, do this, do this, do this, do this. And it has a video going along with it. And it's so easy to accomplish what you need, and you get it in 60 seconds. Right. And it's crazy to think that 60 or even like a 10-minute video is too long nowadays, and just 60 seconds is like, I want it faster.
Yeah, it's insane. But because it makes sense, and again, going back to the ChatGPT thing, when we are stuffed like a Thanksgiving turkey with content. So we don't want to see long form content anymore because there's so much of it. Yeah. It's almost like, I think I was actually having this conversation with Jack the other day. It only starts to feel like the holiday season and Christmas season for us when I watch The Grinch with Jim Carrey. If I don't watch that, it's not Christmas. It's just not happening.
Why it doesn't feel like Christmas. I haven't seen it
yet. Yeah, see that? Well, so literally, if I don't see that, I'm not looking at Cindy Lou Who. It's not Christmas, right? So long story short, the thing is, it's like we were talking about, like, what is one amazing Christmas movie that has been made in the last 15 years that you can compare to like Home Alone or like, the old classic ones to now? And the problem is, and this is the conversation we're having, is that there is so much content. There's so many streaming movies. There's so many this, there's so many that all of the movies that even recently came out, I'm like, oh, that was cute, that was funny, but I'll never watch it again. Yeah. But I will always watch The Grinch. I'll always watch Home Alone and those typical classics. But why? Because when those came out, there was only a few movies at a time coming out like that,
Mhm.
and that was the go-to every year. Now there's an influx at all times of brand new movies for the Christmas holiday season, and so it makes everything watered down. Which is why, going back to the whole key point of it, is when we're watching content, absorbing content, there's so much of it that we don't want to view long form content anymore because there's so much content.
Yeah.
So now it goes, and that's why YouTube realized this, which is why they made YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like they push YouTube Shorts a lot harder now because if I go to how to stuff, like one of my pavers like came undone, and I had to like go and get the right glue for it, for concrete or paver glue, and I literally went to YouTube. But to your point, I didn't use YouTube Shorts at that time. I'm like buffering through the whole thing or scrubbing through the whole thing to get to the point, because it was a 15-minute video that I only needed about 20 seconds.
That one part.
Yeah, and it's like so it makes sense. But nonetheless, again, YouTube, augmented reality, voice search, and then of course you can't forget the classic but tried and true, search engines, obviously on Google and the major search engines on the internet. It's important that we understand that will never go away. But where people are going right now is they're looking at the future. They know that people are only going to continue. Consumers are only going to get lazier and lazier and lazier. And in some cases, maybe it's lazy, maybe it's they're smarter.
It might be convenient,
right? It's always convenience. It's always convenience.
I mean, just even talking about the AI and the VR topic, I had to get a new pair of glasses.
Yeah.
And the first thing you do is you want to see what the glasses look like on you, or you want to see like what fits your face, whatever. And back in the day, what'd you do? You went to the store, and you put the glasses on, and you looked in the little tiny mirror that you could only see your eyes in it, and you had to make a decision from there. Now you go on these glasses websites, and you can literally try the glasses on with VR. So I sat there and I just scanned my face real quick, and I was trying on all these different pairs of glasses, and I made my decision right there. I didn't have to get off my couch.
That's literally
it's crazy.
Think about what like. So when my grandma Joni sees this stuff, it's so insane. You had to literally go to the store, wherever the hell the store was, to go do these things. And now you don't have to leave your house. And it goes back to the introverted experiences that we all want for conveniences. We don't want to go to the movie theaters. Did you talk to anybody? Did you get your tickets yourself?
I got my tickets online.
Right.
I went to the standalone kiosk, scanned my phone, it printed my tickets. Oh, the only person I talked to was the guy giving me pizza, popcorn.
I was like, pizza, damn.
No pizza, just popcorn.
There we go. But
gotta get the popcorn.
But that's the direction that we're moving in. People don't want to talk to other people; they just want to get shit done.
Yeah,
and that's why it's in a way it's kind of sad. We grew up with the opposite, and I'm so grateful that we did, because like your son, my son, and my kids, everybody that's in Gen Alpha on, like they're gonna only know that.
Yeah.
They're not going to know, like, oh, you go to the movie theater, you're waiting in line, you're talking to the guy about the tickets, he's telling you about the movie and what he liked and didn't like about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I actually love that we got to experience that, and I hate that the future generation is not going to be able to experience that.
Yeah, but it's so tough too, because it's not even that I don't want to talk to people, because I love talking to people.
Yeah.
I enjoy having a conversation with somebody, but it's also more of the convenience. It's like, all right, well, I could just get it right now instead of having to rush around, get to the movie theater, stand in the line, wait, 15 minutes to get to a person to giving me my ticket.
Right.
I can just do it all quickly.
She's not out.
And that's something my wife hates. She loves standing in lines. So if you gave her a day of standing in lines and going in-person shopping, she's at her best.
She's about that.
Yeah. I, on the other hand, hate waiting in line, and I hate waiting around to just buy a shirt that I'm trying to buy.
Yeah, you're like, why am I doing this?
The convenience of just being able to get it on Amazon nowadays,
right?
Get it in 5-6 hours is unbelievable.
You're like, what's the point of me even doing this? Like, what am I doing here? But listen, I tend to fall in between on both sides. I'm like, I love the holiday Christmas shopping, like, but also it's another thing. I know we're talking about key SEO trends here, and we went on a rant here. Yeah. But it goes back to why we're talking about, the augmented reality, voice search, and, the video search on YouTube and TikTok and things like that matter. And you have to put your stock and your efforts in 2024 on these different areas, because at the end of the day, that's where people are going. That's where they're searching too, right? So traditional Google search, or Bing search is going to still be here, of course. But when people want to learn and see and like actually see things, or hear things or make efficiencies,
Mhm.
they're going after these other three topics. But last point on this rant of like, in person and introvert experiences is I will always be the biggest fan of Black Friday midnight shopping, and it's gone. It's gone forever. Like even Walmart shuts down now. Like literally, like I hate that you can't do that.
Yeah.
I used to be at Freehold Mall or Ocean County Mall, or do you remember when Kohl's used to do that one thing on Black Friday? I don't know if anybody ever did that. I've never been a big Kohl's person, but Jacqueline is, of course. But literally, they would do that one thing where it's like, not quite midnight, but it was like 11 p.m.
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And they had like all these insane discounts, and like everyone's running around grabbing stuff, and like it's like it's freaking adrenaline. So you're running around in the stores, and my fondest memories at Freehold Mall, where you just see the entire place is mobbed. Angela would love it, obviously. Lines out the doors everywhere.
Well, you know what's crazy about that?
And that's gone.
That this year, it actually came back. And I don't know. Do you remember Walmart was selling a 40-inch TV or 42-inch TV? And it was extremely cheap.
People would run in there and grab it.
It was like 149 for that size TV. I think it was, I don't even know what brand it was. But there were videos of literally just mob scenes in Walmart. People
fighting.
Fighting,
people fighting over it.
And I mean, I hate to say it like that. That's what it used to be like, but that's what it used to be like. People were real like trampling over each other to get these deals, and for so long that stopped. But this season, I actually saw that happening a lot. There were a lot of stores that were reporting this, like that in person, the in person experience and like the fighting and the just so many videos of it too.
But you know what? That's not going to go away because people are still going there because those deals are still there.
Yeah.
But now they're not making them at midnight.
Which honestly, I kind of like though, because
I hate that.
The fact that, because then back like 10, 15 years ago, they started like moving up the start time, and it was bleeding into Thanksgiving dinner, and then it was ending earlier, and so like. That's not what Thanksgiving is about, right? I mean, Black Friday is Black Friday. So let it start at midnight, but then the deal started starting at like 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock on Thanksgiving. That's not fun.
I know. I just miss it though. Miss the chaos. The one year I worked at Best Buy, literally, even for when the Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out,
the
lines for that when I worked at Best Buy, like they had a release at 10 p.m. Right after the store closed. It was like for an hour or something like that, and just the line out the door for people to come get it, like just that vibe. It's almost like a Blockbuster and the smell of like the freaking plastic and like the CDs and shit.
Yeah.
It's like just those things are gone. Anyway, I'm going on a big rant here. Let me move along here. All right. So we have some data and we have some information from Grok versus ChatGPT. I've been testing it personally. What I will say though, at this current time, I like Grok better than ChatGPT. And the reason why I do, right? Of course, you have to pay for it. So $22 at the minimum to get Grok. Okay. Obviously, ChatGPT has the freemium. Grok does not. But what I will say though is that Grok, if you don't know what Grok is, that's Elon Musk's X, formerly Twitter. That's his version of OpenAI's ChatGPT. But again, don't forget, Elon Musk is a founder in ChatGPT and OpenAI, which is so like interesting. Obviously, he didn't like the direction it was going. He's doing it himself. But now the one thing I like about it is that it's current. So if I say
that is nice.
If I say, hey, what is the top trends, in today, automotive, right now, it's going to give me active, legitimate data from right now, which ChatGPT right now currently is up to 2022.
So that's for the 3.5.
Right.
Well, if you get the 4, ChatGPT 4, it uses Bing's OpenAI to get you the top trend. So
right. So it goes through their search engine.
Yeah. Whereas with X, it searches X's platform for any of the trends, for any of the businesses that actively post on it. Yeah. Which is nice because ChatGPT doesn't use any social media searching. Yeah. When it comes to their results. Right.
Which is, like you said, very nice. I think it's extremely, but I think the thing is, so it's that, but also it doesn't feel as robotic as ChatGPT. So when I was using Grok and just testing it, I will be 100%. I tested the living, out of it, and over the past 3 days, so from Friday to today, and just the responses, the answers I got back were completely just the one felt a lot more organic and authentic. Like I could use it and just throw it out there versus having to touch it up or whatever. which again, a little dangerous. Like it, but don't like it. But it's more convenient.
Well, they say with Grok though, like if you don't have a good sense of humor, don't use Grok,
Right.
Because
It's
they,
Elon.
yeah, it's Elon, and they come out with very quirky answers versus ChatGPT or Bing is very straightforward, very
Right.
robotic. But that's the difference with Grok. It gives you more of a genuine, personable response.
Yeah. The one thing that I tested over the weekend that I was absolutely shocked about. So I asked Grok and I asked ChatGPT to write me a 100-page book
Oh God.
on how to stay motivated when you are not motivated, right? Just a simple request. I said, put it in the tonality of a Tony Robbins and a Steve Jobs combination, and and whatever. So anyway, I put those things in. Long story short, from ChatGPT, I get back. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied. It was 100 chapters. 100. This was long. And I did that on purpose. So 100 chapters. So I don't even know how long that would want to be. But it said that my ChatGPT said my request was not.
It was probably like not valid or like
No, it was not not attainable. What the heck is the word?
not attainable. Sounds about right. Like they couldn't process the request because it was too big.
In a nutshell, it told me
It was
that,
too much.
Oh, it said it was not the request was not feasible. And I sat there and I go,
Huh.
well, why is it it's odd that it's telling me it's not feasible. Now I would expect it to have to search the entire world to try to find words. And you put 100 chapters to do that
and take a while to generate.
Right. But I was super shocked on that, where I did not get the same response from Grok. With Grok, it started computing stuff and I just stopped it because I was like, okay, it did it. The result to me didn't matter as much as it because I got met with that barrier from ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, let me try it there. But overall, I would say again, Grok is expensive comparatively to the freemium ChatGPT, because it's $22 minimum for their premium. But again, you have real-time data. Obviously, if you're paying, do you know what the cost is for ChatGPT?
It's like $20.
So I think similar price
very
point.
Comparable.
Yeah, comparable price point. I just think it comes down to one feels a little more robotic than the other. And you have to think about one thing. The one thing I do like too is that Elon, as we all saw at the DealBook Summit, he told all the people who were not wanting to advertise on X, or who are essentially blackmailing him for not advertising on X, to essentially go themselves. And ultimately, the one thing that when you think about it, ChatGPT is also in certain ways, right? It's very politically coursed in certain ways. Like if you, there's been a lot of different things you see. If you ask it questions about certain political things or certain, economical things, it won't give you answers. Now, again, the whole thing behind Elon is with X, and why everyone's annoyed with him is that he's a big believer in freedom of speech. So he's allowing the platform to just do whatever it wants to do. So with Grok, there's really not that you have a free, open field, but it's a lot more open than ChatGPT.
Yeah, there's a little bit more of transparency when it comes to those responses.
Right. Correct. It's not blocking things, whatever. So that was the things that I observed. Okay. So far right now, that's kind of what I like about Grok versus the ChatGPT.
That's a really interesting point of view of understanding that ChatGPT, it is more of a robotic feel, so it probably comes out more politically correct,
right?
Which is maybe why it sounds so robotic. Which
right.
With Grok, it doesn't. It's just very candid, transparent responses. So if it says something that you might not necessarily agree with, I mean, they say it in the article where it talks about where it's like, if humor is not something that you have, then don't look at their responses because their answers are very transparent. So it is a interesting point of view to understand. One is a little bit more transparent, quirky, a little bit more honest, possibly,
right?
Versus the other one, which is a little bit more politically correct.
Yeah.
But my question is, with Grok, does it have the same automation capabilities that ChatGPT has?
I didn't get into that.
That's interesting.
But that's the most important one.
Yeah.
Especially for most businesses want to utilize it. Most businesses are not utilizing it the way that we're utilizing it with all those Zap hookups and all that other stuff like that. But I think that if it doesn't have that, which I would be shocked if it didn't, but if it doesn't, let's actually look that up.
Well, while you're looking that up, I mean, it's just so. I mean, with ChatGPT and marketers nowadays, they heavily utilize ChatGPT and automations for the work that they do nowadays. It's like so imperative that they're using it because it's so hard to catch up. So if Grok doesn't offer this, then that's obviously right now the advantage that GPT
That
has
would
right
be,
now.
yeah. I don't. I think it would be standing out. I see ChatGPT everywhere with Zapier, but I'm not seeing Grok.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
It is a newer platform, so I mean,
yeah,
ChatGPT didn't start off working with all the automations and Zapier connections and things
right.
like that. So, it's that next step that they're probably going to be building into right now. It's just like that source of communication or a source of information, and then it's going to get into the automation.
Totally. All right, guys. Well, at the end of the day, that's what we have here for today. We are extremely, extremely grateful for people watching in on this. Again, if you know a business owner, if you know a solopreneur, a salesperson, an executive, we're putting these trends out there so they can apply them to their businesses, to their teams, and help elevate what they are doing. Normally, we end with a little positive quote. Chris, you got us with something today? What do you got for us?
Oh my goodness,
Rob loves it.
Rob loves it.
He lives for this shit.
Come
on, hit us with that.
I always love this quote. It's more of like a positive affirmation type quote,
okay,
to get you through difficult times. But the scars that you have won't define what the future holds for you. So
okay.
You might have scars. You might have issues that happened in the past.
Could be proverbial. Scars.
It could be physical, mental, whatever it might be. But those don't have to define your future for the worse. They can define your future for the positive. So use those scars as a stepping stone to your next step.
Well, you know what? It's so interesting you say that, because the one thing I will say on that note, I heard this weekend too. So it's actually really cool that you just said that. Is that where I heard this person said, don't move your address to the traumas or things that happen to you, and keep it as your permanent address. Meaning, don't keep going back to that place.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it your permanent address. You have to move. You're not, again, if something happened to you at this time and you're a kid, your address should not be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Move your address, move on. I think that was awesome though. Good point. Guys, how many days we have left in 24 right now? Do we know?
I don't even know off the top of my head. 31 minus 18, 13 days.
We got 1 day less than 2 weeks of 2024. I hope everybody watching this right now has an amazing rest of your 23, but prepares for 24. And hopefully, again, you have 2 weeks to knock out any of the goals that you had in 23 that you didn't. Maybe some of them are low-hanging fruit. You can grab them real quick and knock them out. But if not, the best thing you can do is get yourself ready for 2024 so you can make it the best one you can. Thank you for joining me today, my man.
Thanks for having me.
It's been good. It's been good having you on. And we're going to hope everybody has an amazing rest of their day, guys. Thank you for watching in. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.